everyone. Welcome to the Ratitude Podcast. I am so excited with our guest here today. She is a fellow Tony Robbins Platinum Partner, trainer, just an amazing human being. She's written a book called Never Give Up, and she's got an amazing story. I have read the book. It's a beautiful book, and she's a beautiful soul. And we're going to have a chance to kind of pick her brain today. She's coming to us live from Guadeloupe. It's a island in the Caribbean that I'd never heard of, but that's where she's from. And I'm really excited to welcome Sev to our show here, the Ratitude Podcast.
Hi, Robert. Thank you so much for having me. Such a beautiful presentation.
Oh, this is going to be fun. I want to start with your book, Never Give Up. And could you just tell our audience a little bit about your story? Because you have an amazing story. I said that you're in Guadeloupe. That's where you are right now, but you didn't start out in Guadeloupe. You've got a little bit of a world travel kind of thing going on here. So tell us a little bit. Tell us our audience a little bit about your Never Give Up attitude and where you came from and things like that to start out with.
Yeah, thank you so much, Robert. I am. My book starts completely in this beautiful little teeny place in Poland because I was born in Poland, and I grew in Poland until from 0 to 14. I moved to France when I was 14, and then when I was 24, I moved to Guadeloupe. So I am still very young girl.
You are.
Yeah, but this why I say that, because this journey, this beautiful journey, this book, it's a journey. It's a story of so many people's life stories. It's a journey of starting from in this little place where it was so much. It was not always easy. I was growing in very, very poor environment. It was lots of challenges going on. And I will never forget this moment. I always, as a little girl, I had this vision. I was praying. I was asking God, please help me. One day, I would love to have a beautiful life for me and my little brother, because I had to take care of my little brother. So this journey of living in Caribbean was not always like that. It was lots of pain, lots of shame, lots of eating disorder, depression. I wanted to finish my life. But during all of this journey, what I realized when I was this young girl, one day I just promised myself, one day I'm gonna help my little brother, and one day I know we're gonna have this beautiful life. So why I tell you that? Because I don't want to jump into these details, because of course it was lots of different challenges going on. But what I learned, that it doesn't matter what story we have in the past. We all can have so much pain. We can have so much hurt. But when we believe in something bigger than ourselves, when we stay focused about what we really want to share, what we really want to help someone in our life, we always will find a way. We always will find something, some help from someone. I remember when I was going through this journey when I was young, I have to be adopted because my mom, she was drinking a lot of alcohol. She didn't really take care of so much of us. So I always took care of my little brother. So when one day I came to the orphanage and someone wanted to adopt me, I remember this connection until today, because it shows you that when you are open to receive this gift of life, when you are open to receive this unexpected support, unexpected love, life support lives who support life. So this gift from that moment when I was this little girl showed me really that when you believe and you receive this gift from life from different forms, you always can move forward. And this is how this journey started. And this is how one day I decided to write that book, because it's based on my story. And this book, Never Give Up and Live the Life of Your Dreams, it's definitely the story where we can just find the beauty and the truth of who we truly are as a human being. We can truly find the gift of resilience during all this journey of becoming. And the most beautiful, we can truly allow ourselves to connect it with this true source of who we truly are. That just means we are love, and we came here to evolve, to heal, and to continue to believe in something that really matters to us. So,
as I was reading your book, and actually today I took a long walk before I did a podcast earlier this morning, and I didn't have a guest. I was just speaking. I just did a solo podcast, and I was reflecting on the last about 24 guests that I've had, and everyone has an amazing story, and really the purpose of my podcast and interviewing is to find out kind of like, how did your mind develop? And I thought that everyone would have kind of a similar story. And what I found was everyone has a unique story. Some people came from some tough situations, tough life situations like you did, and other people didn't. And yet everyone that I've interviewed, and they're friends of mine, you're a friend of mine, just beautiful people are my friends, but everyone's living this amazing life. And for our audience, I've wanted to kind of dig in and find out what it is, what happened in each person's life that caused that. Now, what I gather so far from you is a couple things. One is you had this intense desire to take care of your younger brother.
yes.
And the other was that someone showed up and adopted you and showed you love. So those are two really powerful drivers. But before that, if you could go before that happened, why do you think your mind developed where you cared about your brother? Because a lot of older sisters don't necessarily care about it. What was it in you? Is it innate? Is it something that's grown? Is it something you develop on TV? If you can kind of speculate a little bit, be introspective, and tell me, how did you develop that caring? Because you show this caring for everyone in the world. I mean, you're one of the most beautiful souls I've ever met. And it developed, or maybe you were born with it. I don't know. Address that if you would, just for a moment.
Thank you. That's a very great question, Robert. I really think that we are naturally, all of us, we are born with this infinite power. We are born with something it's part of our human uniqueness. That's part of love. That's part of infinite presence. But as a human being experiencing this human life, we all have some challenge to go through. And I think that the power of what's really helped me, I think it's absolutely the power of resilience, of showing up, of how many times I was so afraid. Oh my gosh, it was not always easy. I was scary. I was crying. I was hiding myself. In those moments, I realized that if you just try, if you just do this little one step in the direction of, you just try, okay, I can't give up now. I am not alone. I have to move. I have to do something. This is how we can change something. Especially when you are young, you don't have the skills, you don't have this knowledge that we have today. But as a child, what drives us? When I was young, you know what drives me? I was so excited when I went outside. I was playing in nature. I was playing with boys. I was playing football. That gives me this drive. I avoid to think about my problems because that problems makes me feel afraid. That makes me feel alone. That makes me feel shy. And when I was playing, I think this is subconscious. My subconscious mind take care of myself. That helps me to take care of me. You know, that's beautiful because in those moments when I saw all these different situations, connected to this little moment of joy, connected to this little moment of relaxing in nature, going for the food, playing with people, doing something that was accessible for me at that moment as a little girl, really helped me to get that next step and get that next step and move and move and move. And what's interesting, what you are saying, it's really, we have this capacity to change something in our mind. And I think everything shifted in my life when I decided, this is why I decided to write that book, because I completely shift my reality to my story. I give completely different meaning to my past story, which in that moment I felt like a victim. I felt I was not worthy. I felt like I don't belong. No one will love me. I was always craving for love. I was craving for what I was asking myself, what other people will think about me. So when I shift from that story to this new meaning of what these lessons teach me and how I can use these lessons to become more authentic to myself, how I can share this story of mine, how I can use this, all of this gift when I went through, how I can use that today. And this shift of this story completely changed the way I was feeding my mind, changing my daily habits, changing what I was learning. I get to the personal development because I was so empty. I was dying within myself, Even if I had this little moment of joy, of appreciation, but it was very like a little time of breathing. And every time I came back to my old stories, so it was so much pain within. So definitely everybody who is listening to this episode, even if you are going through some challenging times, everything shall pass. This is just a moment. And you have this capacity to change the way you look at things when you start to just diving deeper in yourself, what you already have right now. And this is what's really helped me. The way I just slow down for myself without having to proving anything. It's completely opened that space to focusing on how I can use this today,
So when did you write your book?
Yeah, in 2016.
2016.
Yeah.
Okay. And are you saying that the process of writing the book is when you changed your story? Because I don't think that's true. I think you started changing your story much younger, much before you wrote the book.
But it was, I completely agree with you. But my story changed. Why before? Because I was very, I don't know where it comes from, but I become very resilient.
Mm-hmm.
Each steps, when I was 6, my mom abandoned our house. So I have to take care of my little brother. We didn't have nothing to eat. Sometimes I have to borrow money from people to buy some bread. And yeah, it was tough. So I had to do stuff what I was supposed to do,
Mm-hmm.
And then when you move through your life, when you have another situation, you still have to show up. But at that time, I didn't even pay attention that I was building my resilience. I didn't pay attention that I have to find resources to support myself and my brother. I didn't realize that it was my power. It was something that is innate within us, with all of us. We have that inside of us. We have to, and that's a very interesting question, because I didn't realize that I had that power until I decided to write that book, because I was still living in this victim story before.
Yeah.
I was doing so many things to prove myself, to prove my dad, until I realized why I had so many beautiful experiences, so many different hard experiences that I was so shy to share with people. I was hiding my life. I was hiding myself. So that's why when I say one of the things that I don't think most
Americans, and let's just say my audience is mostly Americans, realize, if they're longtime Americans, is the impact, the effects of growing up in a communist country or a third world country. Poland was a communist country. My family's from Hungary, although I didn't live there, my parents did.
Yeah.
And the things that people go through, and I think about now in Ukraine and in some of the other places in the world that, you know, people don't realize what's going on because we live in this amazing country. And I know there's a lot of people attacking the government, whether it's one party in or the other party in. It's a beautiful country, and we have it really, really good. And if people knew the things that you went through in Poland growing up, and yeah, you were in nature and you played football and you played some sports and things like that, but they don't know the way it is to really grow up in a communist country. You have to develop resiliency if you're going to succeed, because it's atrocious what they're doing, not just, you know, economically, but your mind, you know, the brainwashing that was taking place at the time.
Yes. It was, yeah, we didn't have access to, we only have access to Russian, we have this access. We didn't have access from the west part of the world. We only have this information that they wanted to give us.
Yeah.
We didn't have access to foods. I remember for Christmas, when they deliver some meat, we have the portion for sugar, we have portion for meat, we have portion for buying some basic food. And in my home, we only have one room and one little kitchen. We didn't have restroom. We didn't have. We didn't have electricity. I mean, we have electricity, but we didn't have warming home, electrical warming home. So I had to wearing the black carbon, I don't know what's the name of this, to warm some water to washing my clothes, my little brother clothes. So when sometimes it was so cold in my home, we just sleep in the same bed with my mom, with my brother. We have to warm us up with this little bottle of water, we put in the bed. But we were happy because we only knew that. So we are so happy that we had that. So what's that learned me today? That of course I'm so blessed that I have not to experience that anymore. But because of that, I can feel the pain. I can feel what people are going through. Yeah. And today, I am completely detached of this material world, which of course we need material world, but I know the price and the beauty of having my bed, the delicious food I can enjoy today. I am just so appreciative for what I have. That brings me tears to my eyes when I just can share today with the world that nothing will destroy you. You have this power to rebuild. When you have sometimes the biggest challenge, this is your most beautiful lesson. This is your most beautiful leverage to help you to be more resilient. This is what's really give you this opportunity and power to drive you to your purpose. This is what's really help you to show up. You don't have to be perfect because you already are perfectly done. And this is all these lessons from my life.
One of the things that you're a trainer now with Tony Robbins, and he talks about the 3 S's. And you've talked about story. What are the other 2 S's?
Story,
state, and strategy.
Yeah, of course. I was asking what you wanted to. It was a what action or question or story, state, and the strategy.
So what for our audience, tell, because you have one of the most beautiful states of anyone I've ever met. You just your name on the screen here is Sev Joy, and you just evoke or exude joy all the time. Is it all the time? Is that your state? Have you been able to master your state so that you show up in joy all the time?
I love your question because state is exactly everything what we truly possess. We don't possess anything else. The state is that body in which we are living. The mind, it's what we are thinking, and the way we think, we feel. To respond to your question, I am not always in this joyful state.
You're not.
You're not. You know why? Because someday I still feel some fear. I still feel some, resentment with my girl. She's doing something. So sometimes I react. I surprise myself. Sometimes I still react. But this is human.
Yes.
But what's built my beautiful state, it every time when I when I feel not very well, what helps me to come back to that beautiful state, it's my gratitude, the moment of coming, okay, it's happening, something happening, but I still can have choice to choose how long time I want to stay in that shitty state or what I truly deserve. So that's why it's more easier for me today to access to this state of appreciation. And appreciation is not always joy. Joy for me, it's a moment when you are truly aligned the way you feel right now. For me, when I speak joy, it's choosing the state that really resonates with you. It can be peace for some people. It can be excitement. It can be gratitude. It can be achievement for something in this specific moment. It can be just taking a deep breath. For someone, it's already... Some people don't speak about the joy because sometimes they are so in pain, so in struggle, that they don't even think that joy can exist because for them it's so hard to get there. That's why when we speak about joy, it's that flow of moment we chose to jump in and to regenerate our body, our mind, our being. And this is the frequency I experience, and I love feeling that way. So I love to come back to that place as often as possible. There is always some moment when I still feel some fear, some sadness, the beauty of this, that we all have this emotion because all of these are human emotion, but how long we'll stay in specific state will change our journey forever. So I highly recommend to people to give themselves this permission to slowing down, even in this moment of deepest stress, some challenging times. Come back to your body, come back to your soul, to your heart, and feel one beautiful moment that you are grateful for. And that really will help you to shift a little bit your way that you feel.
One of the things that I learned from neuroscience is that when you're in, you called it a shitty state or a negative state, something where you're down, there's a chemical produced in your body that causes that feeling. But the interesting thing is that when that chemical is produced, let's say you're triggered by something, a partner, whatever, you're triggered by something and you have this negative feeling, that chemical that's produced, do you know how long it stays in your body?
Let me know. I know you are.
It's between 90 and 120 seconds. That's it. The problem is that we dwell on it and we play that over and over in our mind. So each time we play it over in our mind, we're producing that chemical again and again and again and again. And I was thinking about that. There's a sort of a wives' tale. I don't know if it's called a wives' tale that, if you feel angry at something, you count to 10 slowly. Mm-hmm. And I think it's really to get that chemical out of your system, about that 90 seconds. And then maybe just as you suggest, you turn to joy or peace or to nature, to appreciation or whatever it is that you learn as a strategy, one of the 3 S's, to live in a beautiful state.
Exactly, Robert. Exactly.
For me, one of the things, I turn on classic rock and roll music. And when I hear that, I start singing. And even if I'm in a bad mood, if I start singing and I know all the words and the songs can kind of move a little bit, my state changes. it's kind of become one of my go-tos that I didn't know until I started thinking about it.
Yes, that's so true. It's a strategy. It's become, or the more you practice, the more it become faster and faster and faster.
Yeah.
And it's like a dance. You know.
And one of the things that we, growing up in our younger days, we didn't know these kinds of things because we weren't conscious of it.
Absolutely.
And I think one of the real values, I think you and I entered the personal development, at least with Tony Robbins, about the same time, is you become conscious of your unconscious. And you start thinking about strategies. You start thinking about your state. You start thinking about your story, because up till then, you hadn't thought about it. They just kind of exist. And you're doing pretty good, or sometimes you're not doing good. Sometimes you're doing really good, but it changes because you're not thinking about it. But once you become conscious of it, you become conscious. You can change your story. You could change your state. And then you could learn from some of the best people in the world about strategies to accomplish anything you want to in life. But how do you get to that place? So how did you decide to go to personal development? What was your path to get to Tony Robbins, or if it was someone before? How did you get there?
Yeah, that's a great question. I get there because I was so in pain. How I meet Tony Robbins' book, nothing happened. Everything happened for a reason. Mm-hmm. I meet Tony Robbins' book on the airport in 2001. I even didn't know who is Tony Robbins, and it was in the French airport. And this book came to my life in the moment when I was struggling in my relationship. I was already living in my past story, and I was living as I wanted to achieve everything. I wanted to be the best in advertising company, so I was overworking. I wanted to show my dad that I'm gonna win my money. I will show you, because he kicked me off of his home. So I was in a depression. So and I had sometime this vision of knife. So I really had some trauma, which I didn't know how to deal with this. And this moment, I realized that I have to ask for some help. So I saw some psychologist, but Tony Robbins' book really helped me. When I meet Tony Robbins' book, it's really helped me. It's like a breakthrough. I really had this inner awakening that, wow, all these stories, all this pain, all this knife, when I was afraid of knife, because I wanted to finish my life, I was completely disconnected. It was just the reflection of I didn't know how to finish with my suffering. It was the knife, it was a symbol for me. I wanted to finish with my old story, but I didn't know how to change that story. Mm-hmm. So I was even afraid to share that to someone, because people will think she's crazy. She can, And when I jumped when I had this book, so I didn't have money to go to Tony Robbins' seminar. So his book helped me to work by myself. And one day I told myself, one day I'm gonna assist to his seminar. Mm-hmm. And his first seminar was in 2011 in Rimini, I remember. I didn't speak any words in English at that time. And I remember at that time it was 7,000 people. And he asked the question to some people, what's the biggest problem we all have? And everybody put their hand on, and he picked me up, and I tell him fear. It was like, it was like, it's not about me. It's not about this. It's about the symbol. If you are committed to change your story, if you are committed to find a way to help yourself, to support yourself, universe, whenever you call it, God, universe, people, you will always find a way. And you will always find the person who will help you to get where you want to go. And why he picked me up, it was so many people. It was like a symbol for me. You get to the place, and you're gonna face yourself right now. You're gonna dive deeper into your space to change your story. So it was a symbol for me. I just tell you that because sometimes we don't pay attention to this little sign. Mm-hmm. And this story and this book and this Tony Robbins event, that shows me that's my story, it's my gift. That story shows me that I can share every advertising in this world, but what's my real purpose? This is exactly what brings me to become a coach, to become a speaker, because it was my vision. Even if I didn't speak yet very well, my passion was to help people to awaken their soul, to be free, to be alive, to come back to joy, to really never giving up on their dreams. And this is what really brings me to be close to this community of Tony Robbins, because it was such an uplifting environment. These people helped me to stretch myself. I learned so much. I was always, oh my gosh, they are better than me. They speak very well. But I wanted to go because I know that I have no choice, because I really wanted to help my brother. Today, I have two beautiful children. Because of these steps, today, my legacy is to help them and to help other people to believe what's possible. And if I didn't take that step, if I didn't take that book, if I didn't go to this seminar, even lots of people were thinking I am jumping to the sect. Even the closest people around me. I had to deal with this in my closest environment. People thought that Tony Robbins is a sect, So I had to hide myself. So I was working by myself by night, early morning, learning English from YouTube. I was implementing what he was teaching because I really wanted to heal. And then when I started to heal myself and find my strategy, change my state and change my mind, this is how I say, interesting. Maybe I can help someone else. And this is how all of this started.
Yeah.
And this is how I decided to write this book, Never Give Up and Live the Life of Your Dreams. Because the most beautiful today, my brother is living close to me. He has his beautiful family. He overcome two big surgery. He was practically dying. He already has dead. He was dead. He was completely... He is a miracle of life. So today, each day, it's a blessing. Each day, it's a gift for me. So when I look at this perspective, where I come from despair, and to see how far I came, and still have so much to learn and to become, this is my biggest blessing. This is what brings me joy. This is how the first time of my life, I can see to myself, Sev, you can be so proud of yourself. You're freaking amazing, It's like when you start to saying yourself that, and you don't feel that it's a significant driving, but this is just this inner knowing what you are doing, what you provide to yourself, this joy, this appreciation for who you become in the process. This is how people feel you. This is this energy you exude to this world, because you start loving, respecting yourself. You start seeing you as a gift, not anymore as a failure or as a victim. You are just using this story as a gift, because there is always someone who needs to listen to you. We all have something to we all go through some stories, some challenges, very big. But there is so many people who show up and who become just the source of inspiration. So
yeah. Well, and what's next for you, Sev? What's on your plans? What's 2024 going to bring for you?
I just I am in flow. I really would love to create some beautiful place for women to help them reconnect with themselves through some retreat. I am actually working on a beautiful program, The Art of Mindful Speaking, for helping people to become more, to magnify their presence when they speak. And I really would love to continue growing and sharing my story, supporting people, inspiring people. And this is I really would love to bring my message to the world with my story from never giving up and living the life of your dreams. And helping children, continue to helping children in orphanage to believe in their dreams, because this is the future generation of our leaders. And those young people are our future. So I really want to just be in flow what life is giving to me, and showing more with my voice, with my story, with my programs, to really helping people to coming back home, coming back to themselves, to true
Yeah.
love, to appreciation, to authenticity, sincerity. This is what really drives me.
Now, if someone wanted to reach you, do you have a website, or how would someone reach you to get more information? Where could they get the book? What would you like to tell our audience here?
So of course you can reach me on the website sevjoy.com, joywithsev.com. Sorry, joy with Sev. I'm gonna send you the link. You can follow me on LinkedIn, Sev Joy, and on Instagram, Sev Joy as well. So definitely, I am here to serve and to help people to get unstuck and to be the beautiful, extraordinary person that they are born to be. Yeah, and never giving up on their dream because they are worthy of it.
And your book, that's available on Amazon?
Yes, of course. My book is available on Amazon. Never give up and live the life of your dreams. And each book who will be buy the big part of this book going to the orphanage who I am supporting, and actually they are building the beautiful home, sweet home for the children. So I am so excited to support them.
Is that an orphanage in Guadeloupe?
It's an orphanage in Uganda. Why Uganda? Because the family who adopted me when I was younger, they have one of the doctor who is in cross organization. Our best friend, she moved to Uganda to support this country for some reason, and they found some children in 11 years ago in the forest, and they just wanted to help these children, and this is how everything started, to help children who was abandoned, to help them, give them this little space for and today we have 26 children.
That's so interesting. I sponsor 2 children in Uganda.
Really?
Have for about 10 years or so, and I was there last September on my Kilimanjaro trip. After Kilimanjaro, went to Uganda, and there's orphanages all over the place there either.
Yes.
And the kids are just so beautiful. I remember taking pictures, just driving down the roads, those red dirt roads, and the kids just out there waving at you. And it's a beautiful, beautiful country.
Yes,
Beautiful
and
country.
they are so excited. I am doing with them some Zoom connection. We are doing some leadership. We are working on some confidence, and they are just so in love. They are just so, oh my God, they have so many beautiful projects. Some of them they want to become lawyers. Some of them we want to become accountable. So those children are not different from different children. That it's like it's life. Show me the way to help them, but I still have some workshop with children in Guadeloupe. But it's like all children need our help and support and inspiration. So this message from the book, Never Give Up and Live the Life of Your Dream, is definitely for everyone who want to build their resilience, who want to move from fear to love, because this is the most beautiful journey, coming back home and to find the right strategy and find the right way to just be who we are supposed to be.
Yeah. Sev, it's been such a pleasure having you here as a guest on our Gratitude podcast. To our audience, get the book. It's an amazing book. I read it. It's such a beautiful book. And, maybe it'll inspire you to go do something else to make this world a better place. And if I give you the final word, Sev, what would it be for our audience from you?
Believe in yourself. Believe in your dreams, because you are worthy of it. And just one life touched by your presence, by your commitment to yourself, will completely change the life of someone else.
Thank you so much, Sev. It's an honor and pleasure having you on our show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.